So walk with me now through the old city streets of Jerusalem and discover where the world comes together in faith, in hope, in coexistence, the city of Jerusalem. I'm here at Jaffa Gate in the old city of Jerusalem. And you know, there's very few places that you can say are literally like no other place on earth. But truly, the old city of Jerusalem is unlike any other place on planet Earth. The old city of Jerusalem is holy to the three monotheistic religions. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all find great significance in this tiny, tiny little piece of land called the old city of Jerusalem. Come with me on a quick little journey and learn a little bit more about this amazing, amazing tiny piece of property that over 3 billion, half the world's population, maybe more, views as holy. So the first thing we have to do is we kind of have to deconstruct some of the myths that the media would portray about this place. I've been coming to this city for over 30 years. And can I tell you, when you listen to the media, you would think this place is on fire and there's riots and there's rockets and there's bombs all the time. And you get here and what do you find? You find peace. You find coexistence. You find a model forward for humanity. I want you to take a look right here at how the old city is actually set up. This is the old city of Jerusalem. It's divided into 4 quarters, 4 areas. There is the Muslim quarter, the Christian quarter, the Armenian quarter, and the Jewish quarter. These are the different cultures, the different religions, the different identities that all find themselves expressed in this city. And can I tell you the truth? Rather than this being a place of conflict and apartheid and angry fighting, largely this is a city of cooperation, of friendship, of people learning to get along. Are there differences? Of course there are. Are there times that manifests in some conflict? Occasionally, but largely, in this small space, these 4 communities have found a way to coexist peacefully. This is not the apartheid narrative that you hear about on the evening news. This is not an exclusivity keeping others out. Jerusalem is instead a model of inclusivity, welcoming people from all backgrounds of life. It's a place of coexistence. It's a place of honoring the dignity of God, the dignity of each human being, and walking that out together in a practical way. So come with me on a quick tour through the old city of Jerusalem and learn a little bit about the 4 quarters of the old city and the people groups that find their connection to this ancient holy place. Interestingly, the part of this city that probably gets the least recognition is actually one of the oldest parts of the city, and that is the Armenian Quarter. We're in the Armenian Quarter right now, and when you come through Jaffa Gate, the Armenian Quarter is kind of a pass-through place that you go through to get to the Jewish quarter, to the Christian quarter, to different places in the city. The Armenians were the very first to receive the message of Jesus, the message of Yeshua, outside the land of Israel. So the Armenian church is among the very oldest followers of Christianity. And they had this heart of pilgrimage back to Jerusalem when Jerusalem was really nothing. Remember, it had been destroyed in AD 70. The Romans had destroyed the city, and yet the Armenians read the Word of God and they believed that there was prophetic significance to this city. And so they came back, and to this day, large portions of the old city and other places in Israel are a part of the Armenian church. We don't hear as much about them because, of course, Judaism, Catholic and Orthodox Christianity and Islam, those kind of dominate the headlines, but the Armenian Christians have a deep and rich history and connection to the land, and we really pass through the Armenian Quarter as we go to the other places here in the old city of Jerusalem. And so now we come to this intersection. I'm telling you, there's nothing. There's nothing like walking through the old city of Jerusalem. These alleyways, these connect points. And as you're walking through, you're realizing you're connecting peoples and cultures and history. The Armenian Quarter, where Christianity goes back to the very, very beginning. History records that it was about the year 300 that the entire Armenian people converted to Christianity. Some of the traditions say that the apostles Thaddeus and Bartholomew were those who went to and evangelized the early Armenian converts. And so you're not just walking through alleyways, you're walking through human history when you walk through the old city of Jerusalem. So we're coming out of the Armenian Quarter. This is the end of the Armenian Quarter. We come to this crossroads and we go down here to the Jewish quarter and we go over here to the Christian quarter. And each of these mark different peoples, different leaders, different stories, different histories, and different lessons for you and I to learn today. Jerusalem is a city that teaches us. Jerusalem is a city that expands our understanding of what it means to be a human being, and especially what it means to be a human being of faith. So now the Jewish quarter of the old city. This is the main square of the Jewish quarter. We're here right now on Shabbat. There's a beautiful sense of peace right now on Shabbat. Families are walking, they're going to the Western Wall, which is just behind us here. But this is the main kind of gathering place, the central part of the Jewish quarter in the old city. And you see here behind me this beautiful, beautiful golden menorah. This is a replica of what would have been in the temple, the various instruments, the various pieces of furniture that were holy unto the Lord. God anointed Bezalel and Oholiab to build these articles for first the tabernacle and then for the temple. Today, in modern times, there is the Temple Institute, which is believing in prophetic and intercessory acts that there will be the rebuilding of the third temple. And there's a lot of debate. Is the third temple built, or does the third temple descend? And there's teachings on both of these. But for the Temple Institute people, they are rebuilding these artifacts, believing that they will be ready for the coming of Messiah. They'll be ready for the heavenly Jerusalem to descend. If you look behind this menorah, just over here, come with me, you see this beautiful, beautiful synagogue behind me. When I first started coming, this synagogue was not there. All that was there was that arch that you see. Do you see the stained glass window at the top? Above it, there's that beautiful arch. This is the historic Hurva synagogue. It's one of the oldest synagogues here in Jerusalem, and it was brutally destroyed. All that remained of this glorious, beautiful synagogue was that arch. There was nothing else left, nothing. So when I came in the 1990s, in the early 2000s, all that there was this arch. And then the Jewish people said, you know what? Like Nehemiah, like Ezra, we're back and we have to rebuild. And they rebuilt the Hurva synagogue, which today is a thriving, beautiful place of worship. It is a beautiful, beautiful Shabbat day here in the Jewish quarter of the old city of Jerusalem. Almost as old as the Armenian quarter is the Christian quarter. Much of the Christian quarter dates back to about the year 300, a little bit after that, where Queen Helena came on this pilgrimage to the Holy Land. Now you say, who is Queen Helena? Queen Helena was the mother of Constantine, who became the emperor of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire, of course, was pagan, idolatry. We all know the Roman gods, the Greek gods. But Queen Helena converted to Christianity, and she began to share Christianity, her Christian faith, with her son Constantine. In the beginning, he didn't really listen to her, but eventually he had an encounter at the bridge of Vilna, and he decided that the Roman Empire would now become the Holy Roman Empire, and he essentially baptized his entire army and called them Christians. Now, a lot of people doubt whether Constantine's conversion was really genuine or if it was more of a political maneuver to unite the territory under his control at that time. But there's no doubt of the sincerity of Queen Helena's faith. And so she came as a pilgrim in the year 300 and began looking for the various holy sites that she had heard about Jesus, about Yeshua. And she's the one who decided that this location, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, was the authentic site of the crucifixion of Jesus and the burial site, the resurrection. She's also the one who decided the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem. So a lot of the sites that are the most ancient in the Christian world here in Jerusalem and the cities around date back to the time of Queen Helena. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre being one of the most strategic, historic, important sites in all of Christian history. And so here in the Christian Quarter, this history comes alive. Just up this way, we're back to the Jaffa Gate, one of the main entrance points. We go down this way, we're at the Lion's Gate. Again, the 7 gates of the old city. The 8th gate, the Eastern Gate, is boarded up, but this is the gate that Messiah will come through. If we follow this way to the Lion's Gate, we go all the way to the Garden of Gethsemane. Every journey, every walk through the old city of Jerusalem, there's an energy, there's a spirit, there's an intensity to this place that is unlike any other place on earth. A moment ago, we were in the Christian Quarter, the Via Dolorosa. We turned around a bend, and here we find ourselves in the midst of the Muslim Quarter. Amazing smells with the spices, all kinds of shops, all kinds of things happening here. And of course, key places for Muslims, the Dome of the Rock, which by the way is not a mosque, that's a misconception, but right next to the Dome of the Rock is the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And this is the 3rd holiest site for the Muslim community after Mecca and Medina. And so this amazing city, again, brings together humanity with all of its complexity, with all of its tension, with all of its disagreements. How bizarre to think that all of this comes from Abraham, and yet Abraham unites and divides these portions of our world. And so here it is, honestly, the center of the earth. The story of humanity centers around this city, these 4 quarters, the Armenians, the first adopters of the Christian faith, the Christian Quarter, Queen Helena, her son Constantine, who brought Christianity to the Holy Roman Empire that affected all of Western civilization. The Jewish Quarter, that is the foundation of all of this, going back to Abraham, Moses at Sinai, King David, who established Jerusalem. The Muslim Quarter, following later, 600 years after the establishment of Christianity, Islam. And even though Jerusalem is never mentioned one time in the Quran, yet it is known as the 3rd holiest site in all of Islam. I want to invite you to begin to journey deeper into the mystery of Jerusalem, because what happens in this city affects the whole world. What happens in this place makes a great difference. I have really enjoyed walking through the 4 quarters of the old city with you, and I look forward to doing it with you soon in person. Come to Jerusalem.